everyone, my name is Kate O'Donnell and I'm really excited to share a vision of where I want to take my ELA instruction using technology. Right now, I regularly use Google Classrooms, IXL, and Kahoots, and those tools have been incredibly helpful. But I've been exploring more ways to bring in students' voice, creativity, and ownership, especially as our middle schoolers are so naturally drawn to anything digital. This presentation isn't about having it all figured out. It's about imagining what our classrooms could look like when we lean into tools our students already love and use. My goal is to show how technology can help us plan smarter, teach more effectively, and create spaces for students to express themselves in meaningful ways. I'm just beginning to implement some of these ideas, and I hope they inspire you as much as they have been inspiring me. Our students are already immersed in a digital world, so why not meet them where they're at? I've seen how tech tools like Kahoots and IXL can spark motivation. But I want to go even further. I want to create a space where students can use technology to express themselves, collaborate, and build something they're proud of. This year, I'm challenging myself to be more intentional about weaving in tech that enhances both engagement and learning. I already use Google Slides to create lessons, but I wanted to level that up by embedding videos, links, and even voice notes to reach more learning styles. Book Creator is one I haven't used in the classroom yet, but I recently played with it. It lets me turn lessons into interactive notebooks. Just like this one that you see right here, it's about ancient China. It was super easy to make, and I was able to put in more in there. It's basically just built different, as the kids would say. I imagine using it for student directions, digital anchor charts, or even to house student-created storybooks. So this next year, I'm really focusing on giving my students more opportunities to engage and express themselves beyond traditional writing. One tool I'm excited to try is Padlet. I went in and I tried it, and you can see it right up here. I was able to put like a math link, language, reading, history, science. It looks really appealing. It functions like a digital bulletin board where students can post ideas, quotes, reflections, or even images. I can see it being a great way to make reading responses more interactive and collaborative, like a live class conversation, but digital. It also kind of gives me like a Pinterest feel, and I feel like so many kids just like that accessible, image-driven content, and I think that students will really gravitate toward this. One that was really highly rated that seems to be no longer available is Flip. So I've been exploring other alternatives or what people that used to use Flip are now using. And it looks like Seesaw is what they keep recommending. It gives students the ability to record short videos or voice memos, respond to prompts, or even engage with their peer posts. So if I choose to enable that, it's user-friendly, and I think students will enjoy seeing and hearing each other's thoughts in a new format. So I created another one. Let's see, it's that way. And you see a picture of myself, but basically from what I got off of that is that you're able to give a vocal response, and then people are able to comment on it. So it's kind of like a TikTok, maybe Facebook type feel. So you get like a little bit of that social media type feel in there, but you're kind of responding to things that are in the classroom. So I think that would be really, really beneficial to students. My goal is to meet students where they are at, offer tools that feel relevant and exciting while still keeping everything grounded in standard-based learning. When it comes to assessments, I'm already using a couple tools that work really well for my students, IXL and Google Classroom. IXL is one of my go-to resources for tracking student progress, especially in grammar and foundational skills. What I love most about it is how it syncs to map testing. So after each assessment window, I can see exactly where the students need extra support or assigned practice that's targeted and meaningful. It helps students grow, and they can actually see their growth too. It's powerful. We're currently doing that right now. We're gearing up. Next week we'll be having MAPS testing. So I actually have them going through kind of like as a cumulative review. They're going through things that were on their MAPS test that looked like they potentially needed to grow a little bit more in. So they're going through that and working on those specific things. And then I'm able to work with each of them as I'm walking around the classroom. Okay, well, what don't you understand about this? What do you understand about this? So it's very beneficial. In Google Classrooms, I use features like private comments, rubrics to give student feedback on writing and projects and reading responses. It keeps everything organized in one place, and it makes it easy to monitor who's turning in work, how they're doing, and where they might need a little extra push. So you'll see the picture that I have that way is one of my students' assignments, and I'm able to actually go in there as they're writing and help edit that. So I'm just able to assess like how they're formulating their thoughts and kind of get in there if somebody is stuck or might need to go in a different direction. I'm just able to meet them right where they're at, right then and there. It's effective. It helps. Together, these tools allow me to assess both the day-to-day and the big picture progress in ELA without having to rely solely on quizzes or paper tests. They also make feedback more timely, personal, and purposeful. Okay, so this is a recap of the last one, but this is differentiation and extensions. So I use IXL, and I love how it adjusts to meet the needs of my students where they're at, especially when it comes to grammar skills. One of the best parts is that it meets with our MAPS testing. So after each round of testing, you can see exactly where they need that support. It provides targeted practice. So if I have somebody who needs help on pronouns, or if they need help on coordinating conjunctions, I'm able to just kind of pull up that area and have them work specifically on that area. And it's targeted to each individual student. Some kids don't need help on declarative sentences where others might need help on those figurative language. So I'm just able to help individually each student. I even run extended MAPS assessments to track growth over time, which helps students take ownership of their learning. Looking ahead, I want to expand our reading options with tools like Epic. Both platforms offer leveled articles and stories, which means students can read content that interests them and is appropriate for their skill level. It gives them more control, which is especially powerful for reluctant or advanced readers. I'm also planning to explore ReadWrite, a Chrome extension that helps the text-to-speech, highlighting and even vocabulary support. I see this being especially helpful for students with learning differences or English learners who need another way to access this material. My goal is to create a classroom that feels open and adaptable, where every student has a pathway into the lesson, no matter their starting point. As I introduce new tech tools, I want to be intentional about teaching students how to use them responsibly. I'm thinking of creating a digital citizenship anchor chart within the class that we revisit often, or doing an agreement with each of my students. When we start using Padlet or Seesaw, we'll practice giving kind, helpful, respectful feedback, talking about what it means to have digital citizenship. One thing I always try to keep in mind is that not all students have the same level of access to technology at home. Even though we have regular access to computers at school, I want to make sure that the majority of digital assignments, especially things like the ELA portfolio, are completed during class time. I do this already with our essays. I actually like to have them do it at school. It also means that parents aren't writing their essays for them. So I get to help them write in class, do their writing, formulate the organization of their essay. That way, no student feels left behind because of a lack of internet or devices at home. If there is ever a component that needs to be worked on outside of school, I plan to send home a hard copy version that students can complete and then upload during class. This keeps everything equitable while still allowing students to be part of the digital experience. Ultimately, I want every student to have a fair opportunity to participate, create, and grow without the stress of tech barriers at home. So this is something that I've been dreaming up for a while, and I really hope to implement it next year. But I'd love to create a project where students build a digital portfolio that showcases their ELA growth, almost like a personal brand. Right now, we have Christian Graham, which is great, but I'd love to add like a TikTok style blog element with video podcast clips, blog entries, grammar memes, and writing samples. And I semi-do this with our mentor sentences too. It's purposeful and standard based, The goal is to give students ownership over their learning journey and let them shine in ways that matter to them. Now, I just need to come up with a name. I jokingly call Tick Talk Tick Tack in class, and they think it's hilarious. So who knows, maybe we'll call it Tic Tac Truths or something like that. Either way, it's about making learning meaningful, fun, and reflects who they are. Thanks so much for taking the time to explore this with me. My goal moving forward is to be more intentional on how I use technology, not just checking off a box, but to truly support engagement, creativity, and student growth in ELA. Even small shifts like adding a new tool or giving students a new way to respond can make a big difference. I'm excited to start trying some of these new ideas in my classroom and watch how students take more ownership of their learning.